Hi everyone and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video we are going to be doing another collection deep dive. And yeah, for today I thought, you know what, let's dive into, don't think we've oh no we have, we've done the Game Boy so far, but we haven't done any of the other Nintendo home consoles. So today we are going to be diving into the SNES and the Super Famicom. So I haven't got masses. I will admit this isn't one of my bigger collections. I think at the moment we've got 11 Famicom games and 51 SNES games. But I will admit I actually really like the collection that I've got. I say that there's still a lot of bigger games that I would like to add in. And there's quite a few games that I've got on, for example, my eBay watch list. But yeah, for the ones that I have got, these are ones that I've picked up various places over the years, whether it's boot fairs, contacts, eBay, the whole lot. And yeah, I do really enjoy the Super Nintendo. I'll be honest, I am by no means a Nintendo fanboy. I will say that straight off the bat. That's one of the reasons why this is a fairly small collection. Is because, yeah, my preferences always lie and always will lie with Sega. I grew up on the Mega Drive, loved the Mega Drive, and yeah, as a kid, I think I got to play on the Super Nintendo probably a handful of times. So yeah, it's definitely a console that I've become more acquainted with in later life. But let's switch over now and we'll start having a look at some of the bits that we've got in the collection. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the console hardware. So diving into the console hardware itself, you'll see here we've got quite a few examples. So up the back there, we've got both of my Famicom, or Super Famicom and Super Mario All-Stars SNES console versions. They're both box complete. Everything's inside, and yeah, they're all good to go. And then down the front, you'll see we've got my Super Nintendo. That's the one that I use whenever I'm capturing footage. And yeah, that is sort of my staple console. And then we've also got the very yellowed Super Famicom. But you will also see that I do have the proper Super Famicom and Super Nintendo controllers. And yeah, whenever I'm collecting for a console, I'm always going for the first-party stuff. I very rarely add third-party controllers or anything like that to the collection. And then right in the middle there, you'll see we've got my Super Nintendo Classic Mini. That is brand new. It's never been opened. I literally got it, added it into the collection, and yeah, never even powered it on. Then we move on to another piece of hardware that for me has been an absolute amazing pickup. And this is the Sharp FS1. So this is a Super Famicom TV that was released by Sharp around the time when the Super Famicom came out in Japan. But because the stocks of the Super Famicom were so low when it was initially released, Sharp was able to make this TV under license from Nintendo. And yeah, it was it cost a lot more than just the console on its own. But for the people that were desperate to get hold of the console, it was an easy way to do it. I do have the proper controller that goes with this. So it's the standard Super Nintendo controller. But instead of it saying sort of Super Famicom at the top, it says Sharp SF1. But I will admit, when I was getting everything together for the video, I couldn't actually find it. It's in here somewhere, but as I've said in previous videos, the games room is an absolute mess at the moment. And yeah, there's still a lot more that needs to be sorted out. I will admit the the console itself isn't working properly at the moment. So at the moment, it'll only output in black and white, and there'll be a lot of glitching on the screen. From what I've read online, it should just be a case of doing a capacitor swap on the actual board at the top of the console, in the console up top. So yeah, that is something that I will look to do in the future. It's just at the moment, I'm just a bit iffy with doing it because I don't like working around the actual CRTs, the actual tubes, because, yeah, one wrong move and you will basically fry yourself. And then moving on, we've got the accessories. So I've only got a couple of bits here, but you'll see there we've got the Super Game Boy in the middle, and then we've got two random bits at the sides. So the first one that we've got is the Super Wild Card. And what this actually is a backup device. So if you look on the side of it, you'll see that it's actually got a floppy disk drive. And what you would do is you would put the cartridge in the top of the unit. The unit gets plugged into the Super Nintendo. This one that I've got is actually the PAL version as well, so it will work in my PAL Super Nintendo. And what you're able to do is actually put the cartridge in. The cartridge, the device will then read the cartridge onto a floppy disk, and you can then basically play the game off the floppy disk. Now, what I've got to do with this is I do need to replace the floppy drive in this because it has failed. But, yeah, I've just not had a chance to do it. I think I've got a couple of the floppy drives kicking around for it, so I'll be able to do that sooner rather than later. And then the other bit there on the right-hand side, you'll see is a bit of a weird one. And what this is actually a region unlocker. So you'll see there we've actually got two slots in the top of the unit, and what you do is you would put a PAL cartridge in the rear slot, or a sort of Super Famicom cart in the back there, and then in the front slot you would basically put the other cart that you want to play. So in this example you'll see here I put the Super Famicom Chrono Trigger, but you can do the same with US carts as well. So yeah, this has actually been an absolutely amazing bit of kit that I've been using since before I even picked up my Super Famicom. I will say there are a couple of games that I've tried in this that don't work. I think like the Super Famicom version of Donkey Kong Country doesn't work. You just get an error message saying that it can't be played. But yeah, other than that, I think I might have one US Super Nintendo cart. I don't think I've tried that yet, so I'll probably need to get that done. And then we're going to move on to the games themselves. So starting off, as I think I normally start off with these, and that is the licensed games. So you'll see there I've got a couple of complete in box at the back, and then the rest of it is carts. I will probably say I think it is, out of the 51 Super Nintendo carts that I've got, 18 of them are boxed. A couple of them don't have manuals, so I can't say that they're all box complete. But yeah, most of my Super Nintendo collection is actually cart only, which is fine with me. Whenever I see them, I'll pick them up. But the first game that I want to highlight here is obviously Super Star Wars. This game is, I'm pretty sure that those people that get captured in foreign countries and get taken somewhere to be tortured are basically forced to play this game, because the difficulty level on it is extreme. I don't think I've ever come across a game that has got a difficulty level as high as this. But I will admit the actual graphics on the game itself are really good. And yeah, it is a good game, but I don't think I've ever managed to get past the first level. Probably one of the biggest sections of my Super Nintendo collection are the sports titles. Purely because whenever I've been out and about at boot fairs, they've always been easier to pick up, shall we say. If I've seen carts out at the boot fairs, 99% of the time it has been a sports game. So yeah, I'm very much of the mindset if I don't have it, when it comes to sort of these older consoles, so like NES, Master System, Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, even N64, if I come across a game that I don't have, I will always pick it up if it's a reasonable price. But you'll see here we've got 4 complete in-box games, and then the rest of it is just a smattering of, I think it's football, there's some ice hockey in there, basketball, I think there's a cricket one just there, just in front of NBA Jam. And then you've got Championship Pool down the bottom there as well. So, yeah, a right mixture of sports titles, but, yeah, not sets that I sort of play that often. But I will say, one of my absolute favourite games out of all of these. And it's probably one of my favourite sports games across multiple platforms. And that is NBA Jam. An absolutely amazing basketball game. Now, when it comes to, especially the retro side of gaming, when it comes to sort of retro sports games, shall I say, basketball and ice hockey tend to be the games that I actually like, that I love playing the most. I just think they play so well. And yeah, it is... I'm really glad to actually have... So this is actually the original NBA Jam, but I do also have the other version. I can't remember what it is called. Tournament Edition, that was it. So yeah, I have got both versions of NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo. And then moving on to another... Technically, it's an accessory, but I'm going to put it in its own section. And that is the Nintendo Scope. I remember playing a friend's one of these years and years ago, thinking it was the coolest thing ever. Literally, it is designed to look like an old-fashioned bazooka. And yeah, absolutely love it. When it comes to the light guns of this generation, so the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive, even though I'm a Mega Drive fanboy, I have to give this one to the Super Scope, because it is just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I love playing games with it. Obviously, I do only have the Super Scope 6 game that comes with it. I'm not too sure what Super Scope games were developed. I'll be honest, the only one that I've ever known of is the sort of packing that comes with it. So I need to look into it. I need to see what if there were any other games that were released for the accessory, because I can't think of any off the top of my head. But as I say, I am not a fountain of knowledge when it comes to the Super Nintendo. Then next up, we're going to have a look at some of the first-party games. So these are games based around sort of Nintendo-owned franchises. And up the back there, you'll see we've got the big box version of Mario Paint. That is complete. It's even got the mouse mat and everything like that in it. The only problem is I didn't realise at the time when I picked it up that it's actually the NTSC version. So I don't think I've ever actually used it. So yeah, that is the one game that I'm going to use to try that adapter that we showed earlier on, to see if I can play it. And then just in front of that, we've got some of my complete in-boxed versions of games. So these 4 games were the 4 games that I specifically sought out. I think, yeah, Donkey Kong, Pilot Wings, and Star Wing, or Star Fox, wherever you're from. They were ones that I actually picked up off eBay specifically, and yeah, made sure that they were complete. Super Mario I actually got off one of my contacts at the boot fair, and the box itself isn't in the best of conditions. So you'll see there's a bit of damage towards the the Mario paint. I actually think that whole side is missing, that whole flap is missing. So yeah, the actual box for that isn't in the best of conditions. So that will be one that I will look to upgrade in the future. And then along the front, we've got my car onlys. So we've got F-Zero, both versions of Super Mario All-Stars. I think originally I got the one at the top in the middle. And then in the CEX trip that we done just before the end of the year, just before New Year, a little while ago, I ended up getting that. Zelda, I'll be honest, I've never played this. I actually picked it up from another YouTuber. They were selling it, and yeah, I got it off them for a good price. But I've never actually had a chance to sit down and play it. And then the last one there is Mario is Missing. So this was a pickup that I made last year, and yeah, it was just not what I expected it to be. I thought I was expecting it to be more a bit like Super Mario RPG, but it's not. It is not like that at all. And yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. But for me, the ultimate game on the Super Nintendo, whether it's third party, or 75th party, is Donkey Kong Country. It is an absolutely superb game. And it is a game that I do actually need to spend the time and actually sit down and play through it. I've got a fair way through it, but I've never actually completed it. So I think that's something that I'm going to do potentially sometime this year. And then, as I say, we did also get the Super Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World. And yeah, a really good compilation, this. So yeah, I like the fact that they took the time to actually upgrade all of the original NES games. So, see, Super Mario 1, 2, and 3 all received graphical upgrades. And then the big thing with the Super Mario All-Stars games were the fact that they included what are called on the cart as the lost levels, but is actually the original Super Mario 2 that was released on the Famicom disk system over in Japan, which I do have as well in the collection. But I've never been able to play it because obviously I don't have the Famicom disk system. And speaking of the Famicom, we have got my selection of Super Famicom games. So at the back there, you'll see we've got Fatal Fury as well as Theme Park. Now, I have to admit, this version of Theme Park is brilliant. You think it's running on a 16-bit console. And yeah, it runs really well. The graphics are really good. And yeah, I just absolutely love Theme Park. I always have. It's a franchise that I grew up with. It is the game that got me into the sort of management sim type games. And yeah, ever since then, they are games that I frequently go back to. And even Theme Park, Theme Hospital, Roller Coaster Tycoon, 3 Points Hospital, all of those. And even sort of Black and White as well. All stemmed from me playing this when I was younger. And then you'll also see there we've got a whole range of carts. And actually, I know, even to this day, I still remember the first Super Famicom cart that I actually ever picked up. And that was the cart just there on the right-hand side. And that is Secret of Mana 2. And that really sort of got the bit between my teeth with regards to picking these up. But what I like about these as well is that you don't need to know Japanese to play most of them. Obviously, Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger, yes you do. Dragon Quest, I think you do as well. But all of the rest, so Donkey Kong, Street Fighter, Mario Kart and Mario World, there's no real dialogue in them at all. Super Bomberman, I actually think is completely in English, if I remember rightly. I'm pretty sure it is. I think that's completely in English. And then just down the front there, we've got Golden Fighter as well, which is a one-on-one fighter. So yeah, I've got a good mix there, and a lot there that doesn't need... you don't need to know Japanese to actually play them. Then moving on, we go on to the racing games that I've got. So as you say, I've not got too many, but with these, it's definitely been ones that I have been... I wouldn't say selective, because some of them were ones that just come up that I ended up buying. But some of these games I have actually sought out. So, for example, we've got Unirally there. And that was a game that I've been wanting to pick up for absolutely ages. I think I picked it up last year. And yeah, absolutely brilliant game. It's a game that I'd seen around loads. Don't think I'd ever played it before actually picking it up for myself. I think I'd seen loads of footage of it online, but I'd never actually had the chance to play it myself. And then the other one that we've got is Street Racer. So yeah, this is a sort of cartoony based racing game, and yeah, just absolutely love it. It got released on multiple platforms, and don't get me wrong, the Super Nintendo version is by no means the best way to play this, but yeah, it was one. I think I can't even remember where I saw this. I think this might have been an eBay pickup, but it was sort of quite cheap, so that's why I ended up picking it up. And then going back to the sort of the main screen as well, you'll see there we've got Stunt Racer FX, which is another one that I picked up last year. I think out of all of my racing games, that's the only one that uses the Super FX chip. And then Road Riot and Extreme Heat. I think Extreme Heat was another eBay pickup, but I picked it up fairly early on in the channel. And I picked it up purely because it was complete in box and it wasn't that expensive. Road Riot, I'm pretty sure I picked that up in a big collection last year. Yeah, I got quite a few sort of Super Nintendos from a reseller, and I basically they bought a massive collection of it was like loads of platforms, Mega Drive, Master System, SNES, NES, Game Boy, PlayStation, the whole shebang really. And yeah, he gave me sort of first dibs on sort of having a look through it, and I think that was one of the ones that I picked up. Once again, because it was complete in box. So one genre that is really underrepresented in my collection is platformers, basically. And yes, I have got a load of platformers in with the first-party games, but these are the only two third-party games, third-party platformers that I've got on the console. Bubsy is one that I got exposed to on the Mega Drive, and yeah, it plays exactly the same on Super Nintendo. It is another one of these games that is designed to be as difficult as possible. And then Joe and Mac Caveman Ninja is actually a game that we picked up recently. I think this was in a recent pickup video. And yeah, this was actually a pickup from, I think, one of the Essex boot fairs. So yeah, these are literally the only two platforms that I've got in here. And yeah, I will admit, I had to say, Joe and Mac, when I played that, I picked it up because I'd never seen it before, but actually playing it, I thought it was really good platformer. I really enjoyed playing it, and yeah, really glad that I've got it in the collection. Then this next section is going to be games that I just can't sort of categorize them, shall we say? And yeah, I've sort of put them in here together because they just don't really have a category. So up the back there, we've got sort of two box games. The Other World doesn't have the manual, and Williams Arcade's Greatest Hits is complete and in really good condition, I might add as well. But for me, the ultimate game, and it is one that I absolutely love. Once again, it's another game that I first got exposed to on the Mega Drive, and that is Flashback. This game is absolutely superb. If you think when it was released, it was so far ahead of its time, sort of graphically and everything like that. And yeah, once again, it's another game that I haven't completed, but I have put significant amount of time into it. So yeah, it's another one that I do need to just get on and get it completed. But one game in here that I want to highlight it because it's Another World. And yeah, this one, so I've got a couple of different versions of this in the collection. And what I find with this, so when I first put it in, I was expecting to see a whole sort of intro cinematic and everything like that, which I had seen before. I've got a feeling I've seen it on one of the CD-based consoles. and I'm not sure. I can't see it on my PS1 shelf, but I know I've played another version of this, because yeah, there is like a whole like opening sort of cutscene for it, but that isn't featured on this one. But for me, this game, I've never got further than the first sort of 3 screens. So you load in, sorry, no, is it 3 or 4? So basically you load in, and then you've got the choice to either go left or right. If you go left, it basically takes you to a cliff edge, and there's not really a lot you can do. If you go right, you've got to jump over, I think it's a couple of worms. Then the next screen, you've got a couple more worms. And then the screen after that, you've basically got this beast that you can see there on the cover. And that's it. That's all I've ever seen of this game. I've never seen any more, because I just haven't got a clue what to do. But yeah, it was another game. I think once again, this was a eBay pickup a couple of years ago, and I got it like overly cheap compared to sort of what other box versions were going for. So yeah, that was the big reason for picking it up. But yeah, as I say, it's a game. I'm probably gonna sit down and watch someone play through this, because yeah, I just haven't seen past the first couple of screens. Then the next genre basically is the genre that essentially got me to pick up my Super Nintendo, and that is the fighting genre. And you'll see there we've got 4 games on the Super Nintendo, but there is one that I'm going to talk about, and there's only one game that we can talk about, and that is Street Fighter 2. So this was, you'd have seen that we do also have a copy of this on the Famicom, the Super Famicom as well. But this exact cart was the only reason that I wanted to pick up a Super Nintendo. And I think for years, this was the only Super Nintendo game that I had in my collection. Now, I'm talking, I picked this up long before I started the channel, long before I even thought of starting the channel. So yeah, this was one that I've had for absolutely ages, and the reason is growing up, I loved Street Fighter 2. Still to this day, I remember going on holiday. Where was it? Minorca, and it was one of these sort of package holidays, and you went to the sort of clubhouse where they had all the entertainment on, and I literally spent the whole week or 2 weeks, however long I was there for, at the back of the clubhouse playing the Street Fighter 2 arcade machine, and yeah, absolutely loved it. It was I have definitely lost my touch since then, because I think by the end of the holiday, I was making it all the way through to sort of the final M Bison fight, and then just getting absolutely creamed. But yeah, when I sort of a couple like years later, I then was sort of thinking about it, and then made the decision to actually go seek out a Super Nintendo and get hold of Street Fighter 2. So the Super Nintendo that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, the one that's in really good condition, that is the console that I got back when I picked this up as well. And yeah, it is still a game I love playing. I love playing it over and above all of the newer games or anything that have been brought out for Street Fighter. For me, Street Fighter started and finished with Street Fighter 2. It is, yeah, just one of my all-time favourite fighting games. And then the final section that we've got, and you'll see we've only got one solitary game, and that is the simulation games, and it's SimCity. So yeah, this was one that I did pick up in a big bundle last year, and yeah, it is in really good condition. And I'll be honest, it's not one that I play too often, because it's got very much the same look and feel as sort of SimCity 2000, and I much prefer, if I'm going to play it, I will say I prefer the last SimCity game. And yeah, it's equally, that game has got a bitter taste in my mouth now after basically what EA did, and basically forcing sort of Maxim to go under because of the way they carried on with the SimCity game. But yeah, I do like it. And yeah, it was one that I saw there. I thought, you know what, I'll add it into the collection. The box is in really good condition. It's another completing box to add to the collection as well. And yeah, that is the last game in the Super Nintendo collection. So yeah, as I say, it isn't a big collection that I've got by any stretch of the imagination. But whenever I find games for the Super Nintendo, I always love picking them up. I will admit there are still some bits that I am missing in the collection that I would like. Hardware-wise, I do really want a Super Nintendo Junior. But I think if I was to get one, I'd want the US version instead of the Japanese version. Don't know why. There's no reason for that. Actually, it'd probably be better off to get the Japanese version because of having... But technically, it would be a Super Famicom Junior. And yeah, I'd much rather have the Super Nintendo Junior. But obviously, they weren't released in the UK. They weren't released in PAL regions at all. Those were sort of Japanese and US exclusives. And I just find it near enough impossible to find US consoles in the UK. Because one console I've actually been actively looking for a couple of years now has been a Sega Genesis. But yeah, you cannot get them over here for a reasonable price. So I'm hoping sometime in the future I get to go back over to the US. And that is going to be my primary focus, is to pick up some of the US consoles that I want for the collection. But yeah, for me, I think the only real thing that I want now for the collection, or for the Super Nintendo collection, is that Super Nintendo Junior. Game-wise, I wouldn't say that there's anything out there for the Super Nintendo that I'm like, no, I'm desperate to get it. I must get it now. The Super Nintendo is very much a console that, yeah, if I see it, I pick it up. I don't really actively sort of hunt stuff out. I mean, out of the games that I've got, it's pretty much ticked off all the ones that I would sort of actively seek out. So like Donkey Kong, Pilot Wings, Star Fox, and the Super Mario All-Stars games. Those are really the only ones that I would have actively sought out. But as you say, we've already got them in the collection. So yeah, I'm really happy to have them. And yeah, they are ones that, over and above anything else, I'll play sort of more often than not. But yeah, with that said, that is going to wrap up this video. So let me know in the comments down below, sort of, what did you think of the games? Is there anything glaringly obvious that I'm missing, that you think you've got to play it? It is a superb game. Get it as soon as you can. Because I'm always on the lookout for new ideas for the collection. And yeah, if there's games out there that I don't know of, or that would be worth a look. And I will admit, I have been watching, there's been a couple of videos about recently, about a store up north that essentially got a whole Super Nintendo collection in. And yeah, I've watched a couple of the other YouTubers pick up games for their collections out of that set. But yeah, as I say, for me, there's just no... I don't have a sort of a nostalgic collection to the Super Nintendo. So yeah, it is always a sort of second thought for me. For me, out of everything, the primary console that I love collecting for is the Mega Drive. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. But yeah, as I say, that is going to wrap up the video for today. But if you did enjoy it, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.